And so I'm here today with Amy Mosset, and she is a registered professional counselor and the owner of Interactive Counselling. And Amy has a great passion for supporting others and helping clients through tough times. And I'm really excited to talk to Amy today. Amy grew up in Kelowna but left. And tell us the story of when you left Kelowna.
I left Kelowna just over a year ago to open up a second location of Interactive Counselling up in Alberta. So we're in Grand Prairie right now. But I just have such a passion for Kelowna. We were talking about moving somewhere else, actually, in BC. But we went back for a visit to Kelowna, and my husband and I didn't even need to actually talk to each other. We both just knew that that's where our heart is. So we are coming back because we miss it too much.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So is your husband from Kelowna?
No, he's not. We met in Kelowna, but he's a Manitoba boy. But he worked up north, and he had the same thing. He went to Kelowna once, fell in love, bought a condo, we met, and yeah, so that's kind of where our story started together, was Kelowna. So that's definitely where our heart is.
That's awesome. I love hearing stories like that. That's why I always ask. So when are you coming back?
Well, hopefully as soon as possible. So I will actually be spending the summer there at the very least. But right now, like I said, our house is listed, and we are hoping to get back as soon as possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Interactive Counselling, do you have a location here in Kelowna, or are you moving it here?
No, we have a location. We've been up and running in Kelowna for the last 5 years. We're located in Glenmore. We have 3 amazing counselors right now that are working in office. We also do online and phone sessions as well. So even if you're in Kelowna and you just don't want to drive around or whatever it might be, we do have 3 local girls there. Yeah, so it's pretty awesome.
So are you able to see clients in person now with the whole COVID thing?
Yes, we are. Thankfully, it's definitely been a struggle for so many people. So just as everyone else right now, we have to have extra precautions. So we have sanitizer for our clients, and we definitely do a clean between each client and sanitize between each client. And our building has protocol as well. So we need to meet you at the front of the building essentially and bring you up to our office just to mitigate some traffic. And yeah, so it's pretty simple, just as long as you're not sick and haven't been around anybody who's been out of the country the last 14 days. Yeah, we're seeing people in office, and it's definitely a high need right now. You can definitely see that.
Has there been a period of time where you couldn't even see people in person?
Yeah, so again, it also goes back to different associations as well for different guidelines. But yeah, the provinces have restricted us from seeing people in office. So it's definitely impacted many of our clients, because I don't know about you, but most people don't complain about their spouse in front of their spouse. So video chat has been difficult for many, or phone sessions for many of our clients at the moment. So they are itching to get into office. So we've been in office, and now it's just been amazing.
Yeah. How do you find people are coping? So, like, you highlighted one example of when people can't see their counselor face to face. That kind of exacerbates the situation because they can't get privacy. And I think human contact is so important, especially in a field like that. Have you noticed any of your clients, being extra stressed or extra issues because of the isolation?
100%. It's been actually quite terrible for people's mental health. And even current clients right now who experience anxiety and depression, it's going through the roof. It's getting so much worse. And a lot of our clients actually don't experience anxiety. They're just coming in to talk about other issues, work on relationships. But now they're wondering what this feeling is. And it's the anxiety and the loss of control that we have over our lives now. And just that we're having to do things differently. and really it's not our choice in many cases. And I'm not sure if you guys in Kelowna have noticed, but definitely up here, the division is very apparent. From people who wear masks to not masks, people are fighting over everything. So even just going out in public creates a lot of worry for our clients. And so we're definitely seeing a great impact.
A lot of stress, yeah. I noticed shopping is quite stressful. On a positive note, small businesses, I find, tend to be a lot more polite and compassionate with people. I didn't have a very good experience when I went to Costco a couple of times. Like, I know the staff are also under a ton of stress and, you know, a ton of pressure and working long hours and stuff, but I found that they were a little bit abrupt. You know, I felt like I was back in kindergarten where, you know, if you don't stand in the line correctly, like you're in trouble. And, you know, it's just not fun. And also, like, all of our entertainment, like people who are stressed, like if they watch a football game or, you know, go to a bar or something like that, they can relieve stress for a little bit. And like all of those options are.
Yeah. And a lot of people that I see as well, they are single. And so that brings a whole other dynamic. You know, as I said to one of my clients yesterday, actually, I used the example of going for coffee. Even if you go for coffee by yourself at Starbucks, let's just use an example, you know, and you look around, you can see people, you're still interacting with people, you know, you're ordering and you're just people watching, you're still around the interaction of other humans. Whereas sitting at your counter, drinking the coffee that you made is very different. It's very isolating in comparison to being out and about. So if you're single, you don't have the opportunity to approach other people and, you know, go on dates and do everything that you would have done before. So I'm definitely seeing a great impact on that community as well.
Yeah. As far as dating, do you think people are kind of doing it in secret? Like,
people are actually, again, fighting over it. And so, like, I have many clients who are on dating sites, and some people will be like, hey, do you want to go for a coffee? And they're like, how can we go for a coffee? Like, COVID, what are you doing? What are you thinking? And just immediately, oh my goodness, the stories that I hear, immediately people are just that, they're divided. And so it's creating a fear-based system, even in dating, or like you said, going out into grocery stores. I'm definitely seeing that COVID is bringing out either the best or the worst in people.
So true. So true. Do you think, so there is a bit of a stigma for some people to get counseling? And some people are reluctant, like they know something is not right and they need to talk to someone. But often the first step can be difficult, right?
The first step, I always say the first step is the hardest, especially when you're coming to one of our counselors. When I was going to school, I had a very clear vision about what I wanted to establish. And I really feel like I've nailed it on the head with my staff. I have the most wonderful girls and they have a myriad of backgrounds, which is amazing. But each and every single counselor that I have in my office at both locations are so comforting and they're so supportive. And we are not a factory-based like counseling practice. We don't just operate one method. We look at you as the person, as an individual, and we cater our approach to you. So I always ensure our girls our counselors are doing consistent training and making sure that they're up on all the newest methods and such, just to make sure that if one way doesn't work for you, we will adjust. We really encourage open communication between counselors and client. It doesn't hurt our feelings if something is not working. We don't want you to hide. We want you to talk to us. And so that way it creates a really strong rapport, which is such a key component to counseling.
Right.
And it makes or breaks a counseling experience. I can't even tell you how many times I've had people come into my office and say, I hated counseling. Like, I don't even know why I'm here. I've been to a counselor before. And, you know, and I always tell people, I encourage people to try somebody, try even a few people. And if it doesn't work in our office, I say, oh, I'll put you with someone else. And if that doesn't work, I'm so committed to your mental health that I will help you find somebody out in the community somewhere else just to ensure that you have a right fit. Because although, yes, it is a business, we genuinely care about the people who come into our office. We care so very much. And so it definitely disarms people knowing that and knowing that we're there for them. And so I always encourage people to even, take us up on the free or the complimentary 15-minute phone consult, if that's what it takes, because we just really want everyone to feel comfortable coming in our door.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and that's really interesting. Could you tell us a little bit about the different types of treatment that you obviously do some sort of an intake and you talk to the person, and what are some treatments that work for some people and don't work for others?
So there's so many different methods. And so, lots of people are coming in for CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy. And that works really well for many. And again, it really is just based on the person. Right. And yeah, so we just really cater our approach, cater our homework even. The homework that we give is a perfect example. I always tell clients that you're not going to change in the 1 hour that you come to see us a week, but we provide you some tools to continue your work when you're not with us, to ensure that you're always building on your skill set and always building towards your goals. And so I'm not going to have a person who hates reading or is dyslexic go read a book. So we're definitely going to cater our approach to you and your likes and your wants and your needs. And so although there's each person in our practice has different specializations, like some overlap and such, but they are definitely intertwined and up to par on their methods. So yeah, it's wonderful to know that our girls definitely make almost your own approach to each person.
That's nice. And I guess without breaking confidentiality, you can talk to each other and say, I think this client would be good to see you. You can kind of guide them to the correct counselor.
100%. Yeah. And when people call, if they aren't sure, often people will look on our website, go through the counselors and be like, oh, like that person just seems to fit me. I always encourage our counselors to try to include a little bit of your personality and who you are as well. And so a key to a good rapport is having some commonality. And a lot of people who aren't, who don't care, they just call, I get a little synopsis of what's going on, and I definitely fit them with the best person.
That's great. And are you finding you're getting new people calling you, like people who said, they didn't seem to have any issues before this whole COVID thing, but now they're feeling really stressed?
Yes.
Is it unemployment? Is it just stress in general? Relationship troubles, like everything?
It is absolutely everything. I actually sort of giggle at Facebook sometimes because so many people are talking about how there's going to be like a baby boom after this. Yeah. But they're actually expecting divorce rates to go up. There's a lot of issues with relationships right now just because we don't get our own space a lot of the time. And we're working from home and work you might be different from home you, and people are just not able to have that drive home to decompress from work, or they're just not able to live the life that they normally do. And so we're definitely experiencing relationships. Again, people who had never experienced anxiety before, absolutely. Job loss is enormous. Lots of people are concerned about their finances and what it's going to look like coming up. And so we're definitely having a myriad of issues that are coming through our door. But yes, our requests for seeing counselors are going up significantly within the last, I would say, 2 weeks since everything started opening up. Because even when everything opening up, there's a lot of fear. Okay, so now I can go out and be a little bit more free, but that's actually scary to me. Kids are going back to school and daycare. And what does that look like? What if my kid gets it? And what do I do? And people are just scared to even step out right now. So we're definitely seeing an increase in that. So we've definitely expanded our hours and into like daytime, evening. We're doing 4 evenings a week right now, and even on Saturdays and online on Sundays, just to make sure that we can accommodate no matter what your schedule is.
Well, that's great. I hope you're getting enough rest yourself. That's a big schedule.
Yeah, we're doing, again, it's over, there's so many clients between the 2 offices. So there's 6 of us between the 2 offices. So it's making a divide and conquer approach very, very doable. Right.
And I'm sure, because I know I have spoken to many people that are a little bit pissed off with this and think that the whole thing is overblown, and the stress is coming from the reaction that they're getting. Like you mentioned, the example of online dating, like someone says, hey, let's go for a coffee, because they don't think it's a problem. Yeah. And then people are saying, you're a potentially contaminated bad person for even suggesting that.
Yeah.
And that's upsetting people too, right?
Yeah. And you have to keep in mind that brings like a level of guilt and a level of self-doubt. And so I often tell people that come into my practice, whether they're previous clients, new clients, whatever, that let's develop your own opinion on it. And let's look at why. If you have a respiratory illness and you're more fearful, that's fine. Let's own it. Let's make a plan for it, and a plan on how you're going to react to those people so your stress levels can go down in public. If you're on the other end of the spectrum and think it's a conspiracy theory, that's fine as well. But how can we make it more respectful for people to approach you and you to approach people, and how we're going to react? Because often if we think about it before we actually do it, it might not even come to play, but if we have it in our back pocket, because it is so visible, it's everywhere. It's the grocery store. It's if you go through a drive-through, it's, hospitals. It's if you go for a walk, the beach. Like I went to the beach, and it literally, some people on Facebook were like, why are people at the beach? I wasn't near anybody. I was with my kid, And so it's just one of those scenarios where I really encourage you to have a clear understanding about why you feel the way you feel, not based on social media, not based on many things, because anyone can post anything on the internet. And so definitely limit your exposure and go with your gut and how you feel about it. But definitely people are getting very angry, and it's getting worse almost by the day, because some people are relaxing and some people are tightening up. And so it's really hard for many to navigate right now.
Yeah. Well, this situation in the States is pretty explosive, as I'm sure you've noticed. And I think, having people cooped up for 2-3 months and the unemployment and the economic uncertainty, it's just like a tinderbox, Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit shocking.
Yeah. And
what's happening.
It's such a ripple effect right now, because people are looking at what's going on in the States and anticipating that it's going to happen in Canada. And honestly, the different provinces even between Alberta and BC alone are so different. Like the reopening status, we are just getting daycares in Alberta. School is absolutely not in Alberta, where it's opening in BC. We don't have gyms. You guys have gyms, right. And so I'm so jealous of that. But it's just one of those things where therefore we're actually being pitted against each other. And it's so interesting to see, because even if you look at, I don't know if you're on Facebook often, but if you look at the license plate debacle, I've seen so many Albertans in BC and vice versa. And it's so interesting to see that people's vehicles are getting keyed over this. And in Revelstoke, there's so many people that are getting why are you here? But on the flip side, I'm also seeing posts that people are saying, hey, thanks for coming. Don't forget us. So just the divide in itself is creating such a rift between humanity.
Yeah. Are you seeing some light at the end of the tunnel? Like, I'm seeing some positive signs, like people are excited to get back to work when that's possible. And some businesses are quite busy, like yours, for example. But I do delivery business part-time, but it's become full-time because I'm so busy.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel good, very grateful that I have, full employment, and two of our daughters have jobs. They're reopening. So there are some positive signs.
Yes.
Are you seeing that?
Yeah, there's some great signs. People are really excited. But again, they just roll back to, oh my gosh, this is happening too soon. And I just say, like, go with your gut. Do what you can. I'm not sure about BC right now, but I know in Alberta on June 1st, the playgrounds opened. And so many parents are fearful. I personally am so excited to get my child onto a playground. But again, that's where, okay, we're going to bring extra hand sanitizer and maybe hand sanitize a little bit more than we did before. We did it before, but we're just going to be a little bit extra cautious. And so I can just even see the glimmer of excitement in my son's eyes. And that makes like my heart sing, and
that's beautiful.
And just seeing my clients be able to get out and about, go for walks and not feel like a criminal for doing so, and just easing up on that aspect. Yeah, it's making a huge difference.
Yeah. Yeah. For the kids, I think that's a huge thing. Like, we have 3 teenagers and a 9-year-old, and they've been told, you might kill your grandparents and you're not allowed to see your friends. That's basically what they've been told, with no end in sight. Like, we can't tell you when this is going to end.
Yeah.
And I think that's got to be stressful for the kids,
Yeah, and it's greatly impacting the kids. We're not explaining a lot to them. And again, depending on the age that the child is at, like if you have teenagers, like they have social media and they also don't have the ability to regulate like what's coming in and what they're reading. And so they don't know what is fact, what is fiction, and they're really struggling with it. And they can also see their parents very stressed out. And parenting during this time, so many people are trying to work full time and teach their kids online and have crazy toddlers and babies. And it's just like such a chaotic time. So stress levels are going so high, and we're not being kind to our children a lot of the time. I often tell parents, like, give yourself some grace and just explain to your children that you're a person too, and that we make mistakes. Nobody is a perfect parent. I just ask consistency from people. And I just encourage parents to discuss about this with their children at their age level, to give them some level of understanding, because trying to protect them from everything is actually doing quite the opposite.
Yeah.
And just making it open communication. Just like I say about everything, sex, friends, parents, like extracurriculars, COVID. Let's just make it a normal conversation to be not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. In our case, it's been super stressful, but a lot of positive things. Like, we got married. So
yeah, congratulations.
I always say, if you want to know if you're compatible with somebody, go on a vacation with them where you're stuck in the same room and with the same activities for 2 weeks, and you're going to either like the person more or less.
Yes, that's exactly right. Oh, it's so accurate.
And in some cases, you actually like the person more, and that's great. And in other cases, you're like, I can't stand this person. So that's just life, but it kind of accelerates that dating process.
Totally. And it just puts you in different positions. The reason why when people go on vacation, they either learn to love each other or hate each other. Part of it is the time spent together, but part of it is the fact that you're put in scenarios that you might not be put in otherwise. It's funny that you say that. My husband and I went on a road trip actually to Mexico. We drove to Mexico.
Wow.
Prior to kids and just that, we were stuck in a vehicle for 10 days, directly side by side, a little tiny car, and we drove to Mexico, and we had many different experiences that I would have never had on a plane, but it brought us closer together. It definitely could have divorced us, but it brought us closer together instead. So
that's awesome. That's great. That's great. So how do people get in touch with you if they want to check out your services.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put links to everything in the show notes.
Yeah, for sure. So we have a Facebook page as well, Interactive Counselling Limited. So we often do blog posts. We sometimes do draws just to keep people mindful about their mental health and self-care. People are not getting enough self-care right now. So we've recently done a draw for self-care basket. Also did a manly one. Nice. For like barbecue and cleaning cars and all that kind of such. But yeah, definitely check us out on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Our website is www.interactivecounselling.ca. And on there is online booking links as well. So you can book online, you can give us a call, or even a text message at 250-859-4485. Shoot us an email at info@interactivecounselling.ca. We definitely respond as quickly as possible. If you don't get an email back right away, practically, check your junk mail. One of our counselors is always on it. So yeah, we can definitely help you out in a myriad of ways.
That's awesome. Oh, and I want to push this to the end because I did have one more question. I wanted to ask you about how you got into this profession. Was there something when you were younger that made you decide you wanted to be in the mental health field?
No.
Or was it an evolution, or how did that happen?
No, I actually wanted to be a pilot, and I was going to school to become a pilot, and I got in a car accident. And so that revamped my whole world.
Wow.
And yeah, it was definitely an interesting endeavor. And then I definitely had some jobs where I was working with youth. And with the companies, I didn't like the way that the companies were run. I didn't like the fact that the youth didn't have much of a voice and that the families were putting all the blame on the kids. And it was a struggle for me to sit back and watch this. So I decided to go to school to become a counselor. And my original initiative was just to impact youth. And when I started, I was working with these youth, and I was definitely realizing that, okay, most of it's not the youth, it's the parenting. So I would bring the parents in, and I talk with the parents, and then realize that, hey, no, it's the youth is just a result. The kids, their behaviors are just a result of the parenting. So I started really focusing on parenting and with that being relationship counseling and how it really is a full circle, how parents need to be strong individuals and healthy individuals to be part of a healthy couple, and the healthy couple raises a healthy family. And with that healthy family comes like the values and the core beliefs and how that is transferred onto your children in so many cases, not all cases, but so many cases. And I'm finding that that's greatly impactful on the family unit. And so with that, it kind of just blossomed. I had no intention of, having multiple locations and multiple counselors, but it just, my passion for it, seeked other people that had equal passion and equal strength in different areas. And so now we've started to build this wonderful environment, is what I call it. I don't even want to call it a practice. I want to call it an environment because it's so welcoming, and our counselors are just that. They're just so welcoming and so supportive. So it really was just a go with the flow, go around great people and really build. And the word of mouth clientele that we've had has been amazing. So I can tell what we're doing is we're going in the right direction. And here we are. I just feel like I blinked and 5 years passed, and we have this wonderful team and 2 locations and just so many learning curves. It's been amazing.
That's wonderful. That's great to hear.
Yeah.
Well, I hope to get you on the show again in the future once things have got back to normal.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
We used to do the interviews in person, and that's always a nice thing. But this app is an example of technology that kind of comes out of crisis. Like there's a lot of examples, like through the Great Depression and other times of crisis, where there's really interesting technology and human solutions that end up coming out of it. But used to be when you do a phone call with somebody, it kind of sounds like someone is in the bathtub.
Yeah.
Like that very tinny old.
Yeah.
And this software is really great. So I've done, I think, 5 or 6 now using this, and it sounds really great. It sounds almost like you're sitting right here.
Yeah,
So.
Technology has come so far. I even just find with the sessions that we do on Zoom are so handy, and there's like no lag time and such. So it's definitely wonderful how the people behind the technology has stepped up just to make life just that much easier during this time.
Right. Oh, one last thing. Is there an age range of clients that you see?
Yeah, so we have a child and youth counselor in our Kelowna office, and really it's from, I'd say, probably 8 years and up. So we do that, and then we go all the way up to, we even work in seniors' homes, actually. So with people who are unable to come to us, we go to them in like the elderly facilities. So yeah, I would generally say 8 and up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that's great. That's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to move some of these sections around a little bit.
Perfect.
But that's all great. Great information and great conversation.
Yeah, thanks so much. And again, congratulations on getting married. That's so exciting.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. So I will tag you in the post when it gets done.
Sounds good.
And you should hear from us soon.
Okay, thanks so much, Luke.
Thanks, Amy.
Okay.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.